The story for me started when Yariv Bash, Jonathan Weintraub, and myself met together and started thinking about how we're going to build the first Israeli spacecraft. It started from the Google Lunar X Prize competition, an international competition to land a private spacecraft on the moon. But really quickly, it became something much bigger for us, and the vision to inspire the next generation of scientists and engineers. And this is what we have been doing in the last few years.
The SpaceIL program had tremendous challenges. We were trying to do something that had never been done before. We were doing a private, non-government mission to the moon. We were doing it significantly cheaper than had ever been done before. We were doing a new space mission, not a conventional space mission where you've got thousands of people working on it and costing hundreds of millions of dollars. All of that sounds complex, but when you drill down, it's even more complex than it sounds, because we are actually reinventing how you conduct such a program.
From the space community point of view, it was the first non-governmental spacecraft to the moon. It was the first spacecraft with almost no redundancy.
This is an incredible achievement, not just for the nation of Israel, but for all countries and commercial space. And we are proud to have partnered with you.
We had a lot of challenges through the years. It started in the beginning in just understanding how the spacecraft is going to look like. It took us 5 years just to get a design that can actually get to the moon. In parallel, we needed to raise a lot of money, but then also tackle the engineering. And in the engineering project, there were a lot of things, a lot of details that we had to figure out, a lot of things we designed and again, didn't work.
I joined the project at the beginning of 2018, and the major challenge was to bring the spacecraft to the launch pad on time, on schedule.
With a lot of work and with a lot of help and with the support of the Israeli aerospace industries and the Israeli space agencies and our donors, Maurice Kahn and the Edenson family and many others, we were able to get to that moment with a working spacecraft. But even then, after we launched the spacecraft, there were still a lot of things that didn't work as expected.
Those 7 weeks were very, very challenging for the technical team. They worked relentlessly, day and night, 24/7, with very little sleep, to figure out what the problems were, to come up with very clever solutions to them. In the final stage of the landing, we came across a series of small problems that joined together and ended up in the spacecraft being without the motor on for much too long, and we reached the moon's surface much, much, much faster than we'd ever expected.
We wanted to soft land, but eventually we crash landed. It was a sad moment for everyone, but really quickly we remembered that the bigger impact we tried to create was not on the moon, it was here on Earth.
Even though we landed on the moon much faster than we wanted to, and in too many pieces, it's still a tremendous success, because the mission was not to get to the moon. The mission was to get Israel's youngsters, aged 3 to 93, excited about technology, excited about dreaming and making those dreams come true. And this we achieved.
It was very exciting to see how all Israelis and how all the children followed the mission after the launch and before the launch, how they were connected to the mission.
We got much closer to the moon than anyone else had done in the first try. We did it in a way that nobody had thought possible a few years earlier, against very heavy odds. So the mission itself, in my view, was extremely successful, and the outcome was fantastic.
SpaceIL has been working in the last few years to get the next generation of scientists and engineers inspired on STEM education. This is what we are planning to continue doing through the next project, Beresheet 2.
The Beresheet program created a lot of impact within all the people, in which Israel became all of a sudden one of the few countries that dealing with deep space for the first time. Join us to the moon.